Lost under the twin suns burned high in the sky, one golden, the other pale blue. Their light mixed together and painted the clouds with strange colors. The air shimmered with heat. Wind rolled across the dusty hills. Princess Liara sat inside her small spacecraft, pressing buttons again and again. Nothing worked. The control panel was dead. The screen blinked red and then went black. Smoke curled from the back. No. Come on, she whispered, slamming her hand on the side. Her dragon pet, Karaz, let out a low, rumbling growl. He was big, with soft green scales and long wings folded against his back. He nudged her shoulder with his nose. I know, Karaz. We're stuck, she said softly. They had been flying back to their starship after visiting an old moon temple, but Liara had taken a shortcut through an unmarked region. The maps warned about it, so did her royal guards. But she was tired of rules and tired of being watched all the time. She just wanted to explore on her own, but the shortcut turned into a storm. A magnetic storm had ripped through their ship's systems. She lost control. Now they were on this unknown planet, near a strange village and completely alone. Liara pushed open the hatch. Hot air rushed in. Dust clung to her boots as she stepped outside. The crash site was a mess: broken trees, smoke rising, metal shards scattered everywhere. The ship was tilted halfway into a ditch. Karaz climbed out behind her and stretched his wings. He sniffed the air, then growled again, deeper this time. What is it? Liara asked. She followed his gaze. Far in the distance, past the hill, were rooftops. Small buildings made of stone and wood, a village. But it looked nothing like the shining cities of her world. It was old, quiet, primitive. We need water and shelter, she said, looking at Karaz. We'll go when it's dark. The twin suns began to dip lower. As the golden one set, long shadows stretched across the ground. The blue sun hovered above the horizon, casting a soft glow dot at night. Liara moved silently through the trees. She wore a black cloak that helped her blend with the darkness. Karaz stayed behind, hidden in the forest, waiting. Liara crept closer to the village. She heard soft music like stringed instruments and laughter. Lights flickered in the windows. Smoke from cooking fires drifted into the sky. She crouched behind a stone wall, watching. People walked around in simple clothes. Some carried baskets. Children played with spinning toys. There were no energy shields, no drones, no weapons. This is not a warrior's world, she whispered. But it's still dangerous. She waited until no one was looking and darted toward a garden near one house. She reached for fruit hanging from a vine, but the plant hissed. She froze. It moved. The plant lashed out like a whip. She jumped back just in time. That's when she heard a voice. A small boy stood nearby, staring at her glowing yellow eyes. Mama! He shouted, turning and running. Liara ran back into the trees. She moved fast, heart pounding. When she reached the forest edge, she called out softly. Karaz! He came quickly, but his steps were heavy. He limped. Blood dripped from one leg. A metal trap was stuck to his foot, sharp teeth clamped tight. No. Oh stars, no. She sighed, kneeling beside him. She tried to pull the trap open. It wouldn't budge. You were hurt waiting for me, she whispered, angry at herself. I should have never come to this place. Karaz growled in pain but didn't snap or roar. He trusted her. Liara took out a small tool from her belt, one of the few things still working, and used it to slowly pry the trap apart. When it finally opened, Karaz pulled his leg free and collapsed, breathing hard. She tore part of her cloak and wrapped his wound, then looked toward the village. They'll come looking, she said. They saw me. She had to decide: leave now and search for safety elsewhere, or stay and find help. But this was no ordinary village. Something about it felt strange. The people seemed too calm, too quiet. And the wind always carried whispers. As Liara held her dragon's head in her lap, she stared up at the sky. The stars were not in the right place. Even the constellations were wrong. This planet is hiding something, she said. And I think we're not the first ones lost here. The twin suns dipped lower, and darkness settled in. Night covered the forest like a thick blanket. Cold air moved through the trees, and strange whispers floated in the wind. Liara sat near a small fire she had built from broken branches. Her dragon, Karaz, rested beside her, breathing slow and deep. His leg was wrapped tightly, but he still groaned from pain. She watched the flames and thought about what she had seen. That village, those people, the child who saw her. They weren't like the enemies she had trained to face. They were simple. But something felt wrong, too quiet, too perfect. Liara stood up and looked toward the village again. Small lights flickered from behind the trees. She whispered to Karaz, "You stay here, I'll go back. I need water and answers." She pulled her cloak over her head and moved through the forest. She was light on her feet, trained from a young age in silent movement. Her people had called her Shadow Dancer. That title saved her more than once. As she got closer, she heard voices low and serious. She followed the sound to a large wooden house near the village center. There, behind a broken wall, she crouched and listened. "The boy saw something," one man said. "Not just something. He said it had golden eyes," said an older woman. "And wings," another voice added. "Huge ones. The boy swears there was a flying beast in the trees." Lyra's eyes narrowed. So they believed the boy. What if the stories are true? The older woman whispered, "What if the creature from the cave is waking again?" "It's just a child's tale," the man replied. "This is probably a lost traveler, maybe from the other side of the ridge. But remember what happened last time," she hissed. There was silence. Then the man spoke again. "If it's dangerous, we have to protect the village. We'll search the woods at first light." Liara leaned back, heart racing. She didn't understand all their words, but she understood enough. They were afraid. She slipped away and moved toward the well near the village edge. The bucket was tied with thick rope. She pulled it up quietly, scooped water into a skin pouch, then turned to go. A soft voice made her freeze. "You're not from here, are you?" She spun around. A man stood a few feet away, holding a lantern. He was tall, strong, with calm brown eyes. He didn't raise a weapon. He didn't run. Liara stepped back, ready to vanish. "I won't call them," he said gently. "I saw you yesterday, with the fruit vines. They're not safe to touch." Liara didn't answer. Her eyes glowed in the dark. She didn't trust him, not yet. He smiled carefully. "I'm Elias. I work the fields, fix roofs, help old folks. I'm not here to hurt you." She stayed quiet. The silence stretched. Finally, she said, "Why are you talking to me?" "Because I think you're lost," Elias said, "and hurt." He stepped forward and offered a wrapped bundle. "Dried root bread. You look like you need it." Liara took it slowly. Her fingers brushed his for a second. She hadn't touched a human before. "My name is Liara," she said at last. "That's a beautiful name," Elias said. She put the food away. "I have to go." "Wait," he said. "You're not safe out there. The village, it's not what it seems." "I know," she replied. "They speak of curses and monsters." He looked away. "They have good reasons." Liara narrowed her eyes. "You're hiding something." Elias didn't answer. Instead, he said, "Come back tomorrow. I'll show you something. Something I think you should see." She tilted her head. "Why would I trust you?" He shrugged. "You don't have to. But if you want to know why the air feels heavy, why the stars look wrong, come." Liara turned without answering and disappeared into the trees. When she reached Karaz, the dragon was alert. He sniffed the air, then growled, "It's okay," she whispered. "I'm back." She gave him water and food. Then she sat beside him, watching the dark forest. The wind howled. The trees groaned. Far away in the village, old stones began to glow faintly with a purple light that hadn't shone in years. In her dreams that night, Liara saw the ground cracking open, a monster with burning eyes rising from a black pit, a dragon screaming in pain, and a human man standing beside her, holding her hand. She woke up in cold sweat, and she knew Elias was right. This village held more than simple people. It held something ancient. And tomorrow, she would find out what it was. Liara didn't sleep much. The strange dreams stayed in her head. The feeling of fire, the roar of a creature from deep underground, and Elias's hand holding hers. She sat beside Karaz as the blue sun began to rise. His wound was healing slowly, but the dragon still winced when he moved. The wind was softer now, but it carried a smell she couldn't ignore: old earth, wet stone, and something hidden. She looked at her dragon's tired face. "I have to go," she whispered, placing her hand on his scales. "If I don't return, fly as far as you can." Karaz blinked slowly, almost like he understood. With her black cloak over her shoulders and her knife tucked in her belt, Liara moved quietly through the forest, heading back to the village. She didn't trust Elias. Not fully. But something about his voice, it didn't carry lies. And in this strange land, trust, even a small one, was rare. She reached the village's edge before the golden sun rose. The houses looked peaceful again, but the quiet was too perfect, like everyone was pretending not to be afraid. As she slipped through the shadows, Elias was already waiting near the old storage barn. He wore a simple brown shirt and carried no weapon. His lantern glowed faintly in the half-dark. "You came," he said. "I'm not here to make friends," Liara replied. He nodded. "I wouldn't expect that." She followed him down a narrow path behind the barn. They walked in silence, crossing a broken fence and climbing down a small rocky slope. Below, hidden by thick trees, was a large stone door half buried in the earth. Liara stopped. The air around it felt heavy. "What is this place?" "This used to be a shrine," Elias said, "before the elders sealed it. They said it was cursed, because something was sleeping inside." Liara stepped closer. The door had carving symbols in a language she knew. Her people's language. Her heart skipped. "These are my ancestors' words," she said. Elias looked surprised. "Can you read them?" She knelt down, tracing the letters. "They say, 'Do not awaken the heart of fire. Let it sleep beneath the stone.'" Elias frowned. "So it's true." Liara stood. "How long has it been sealed?" 300 years, maybe more. No one really knows. The village only keeps the path clear because strange things happen when it's ignored. Fires, floods, shadows moving without cause. Liara stared at the door. Her fingertips tingled with old energy. "Something inside knows me," she said softly. Elias turned toward her. "Then maybe you were meant to come here." Before she could answer, a sharp sound broke through the quiet shouting. "Villagers, come in closer. They're searching again," Elias said. "They'll think I'm helping you." "You are helping me," she replied. He gave her a small smile. "Then let's move." They ran together, staying low. Liara moved like a ghost through the brush, but Elias wasn't trained like her. A branch snapped under his boot. Voices turned. "There!" 3 men rushed forward with spears. Elias raised his hands. "Wait!" But Liara was faster. She stepped in front of him, cloak flying, eyes glowing gold. She pulled out her knife, holding it low. "Back!" she warned. The men stopped, startled by her strange voice and glowing eyes. "That's the beast the boy saw," one shouted. "She's cursed." Another yelled. Liara didn't move. Her stance said everything. If you attack, I won't show mercy, she said. Elias stepped beside her. She's not the danger. The danger is what's under the village. The villagers hesitated. They didn't understand. Fear kept them still. Then, a deep sound rolled through the air like thunder beneath the ground. Everyone went quiet. Even the wind stopped. What was that? One man asked, looking around. Lyra's eyes narrowed. It's waking. Without waiting, she pulled Elias by the arm. They disappeared into the trees. They ran back to the forest where Karaz waited. When they arrived, the dragon stood tall, wings half open. He growled low, ears twitching. He felt it too, Lyra said. What was that sound? Elias asked, breathing hard. Lyra looked toward the hills beyond the village. I think something ancient is moving underground. And that door. That door is a warning, she said. Karaz let out a loud snort and stared toward the village. He sensed something coming. Elias looked at the two of them, an alien princess and her beast, and realized something he had never thought before. They were here not to bring danger, but to stop it. You shouldn't be alone in this, he said to her. Lyra raised an eyebrow. You don't even know who I am. I know what I see, he said, and I'm not running. She looked at him for a long time, then gave a small nod. Then stay close, she said. Because whatever's waking, it doesn't care what planet you're from. The fog came early that night. It rolled in from the hills like a silent wave, thick and silver, covering the ground until even the trees looked like shadows. Lyra stood beside her dragon, Karaz, watching the white mist crawl between branches. The forest no longer felt like a place to hide, it felt like a trap. They'll come again, she said quietly. Elias stood nearby, rubbing his arms. The villagers or something else? Lyra didn't answer. Her golden eyes stared deep into the fog as if searching for what was hidden inside it. Karaz lifted his head suddenly, nostrils flaring. His wings twitched. What is it, boy? Lyra whispered. He growled, low and deep. Then they heard its soft footsteps. Not from one person, but many. They're here, Elias said. No, Lyra replied, her voice sharp. They're surrounding. There's a seeps moved in the mist. Tall, hunched figures with torches. The villagers had come in silence, walking with bare feet on the soft forest floor. Lyra reached for her blade, but Elias held up a hand. Wait, let me talk to them. She narrowed her eyes. They won't listen. I have to try. Elias stepped into the fog, hands raised. I know she looks different. I know the dragon frightens you, but she's not your enemy. An old man stepped forward, his face lined, eyes sunken. Then what is she, Elias? A goddess? A ghost? She carries the mark of the fire. Lyra stepped beside him now, hood down. I carry only truth. Your village is built on something cursed. It's waking. A woman's voice rose from the crowd. So it was you who stirred it. You brought the fog, the tremors, the burning lights. I didn't wake anything, Lyra said calmly. I'm trying to stop it. Lies! Shouted another. The cave has been silent for centuries, until you arrived. Elias turned to them. You all feel it. The cold under your skin. The wind that smells like fire. This has nothing to do with her. The villagers murmured, unsure. Some looked scared, others angry. The fog made everything worse, hiding faces, stealing voices. Then it happened. A scream tore through the air, sharp, high-pitched. Everyone froze. From deep within the trees came a terrible roar, not from Karaz. Something else, something bigger. The ground shook slightly beneath their feet. The torches flickered. The fog trembled. What is that? The old man whispered. Your past, Lyra said. The villagers turned and ran. Elias grabbed Lyra's arm. What was that sound? I don't know, she said, but it wasn't alive yesterday. They moved quickly through the trees. Karaz followed, limping slightly but alert. They reached a rocky outcrop above the village and looked down. The fog had reached the edge of the homes. Lights inside the houses flickered like stars caught in a storm. From the other side of the village, smoke began to rise. A barn had caught fire, no cause. No lightning dot, just heat from under the earth. They still think it's me, Lyra said. Bitterly. Then we prove them wrong, Elias replied. How? He looked at her. Show them what you really are. She shook her head. They won't understand my power. They'll fear it more. Elias stepped close. Then show them your heart. She stared at him, uncertain. Her whole life, people had bowed before her, feared her because of her royal blood. Now a simple man told her to lead with kindness. It felt strange, but not wrong. A loud crack echoed behind them. The rocky ground split open, just a thin line, but smoke hissed out. Lyra stepped back. We don't have much time. They returned to the village. This time, she didn't hide. She walked through the fog, through the center of the village, Karaz beside her. People peeked from windows, whispered from behind doors. She stopped in the square and raised her voice. You don't have to believe me, but the thing below your village is breaking free. It was buried here by my ancestors after it destroyed entire cities. It will do the same to you if we do nothing. The old man stepped out again. Why should we trust an outsider? Because I'm the only one who knows how to stop it, she said. You could be lying. I could. She said, stepping closer. But would I walk into the center of your home, with no weapons drawn, if I meant you harm? There was silence. Then the woman from before, the one who had blamed her, stepped out. My son saw her dragon. He said it didn't chase him. It just looked sad. That changed something. Slowly, others stepped out. Then a young man stepped forward with a question. Can your dragon fight? Liara looked at Karaz. Even wounded, yes. And you? She pulled her cloak aside, revealing her blade. I was trained by the royal guard of Velarus. I've fought monsters that swallowed stars. Elias smiled slightly. Told you. The old man looked at her one last time. Then he nodded. What do we need to do? Lyara took a deep breath. We go back to the sealed cave. We open it. And stop what's coming before it reaches the surface. But we sealed it for a reason, the woman said. And now it's breaking out on its own, Lyara answered. Better we face it on our terms. The people looked at one another. Fear still lived in their eyes, but now it shared space. With hope, for the first time since she arrived, Lyara felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. She wasn't alone anymore. Asterisk. The next morning, the fog was gone, but the village was quiet like a graveyard. No laughter, no children playing. Just whispers and the heavy sound of worry in every breath. Lyara stood at the edge of the village with Elias and Karaz. The dragon's wound had sealed overnight. He was still weak, but something in his eyes had changed. He was alert, ready. The villagers gathered behind them, carrying tools, rope, and torches. Some still looked unsure. Others clutched old symbols around their necks, muttering prayers to ancient gods. They were going to the mountain. The path twisted through dead trees and broken rocks. Strange symbols were carved into the trunk, symbols Lyara had never seen before. Even the wind didn't blow here. It felt like the mountain held its breath, waiting. Elias walked beside her. You've seen this place before? Only in dreams, she said, but it feels familiar. Karaz climbed the hill slowly behind them, his claws scraping stone. Villagers watched him nervously but said nothing. After an hour, they reached it. The entrance was hidden behind a wall of vines. No doors, just smooth black stone that shimmered like glass. A symbol glowed faintly in the center, shaped like a flame inside a circle. This is it, Elias said. One of the villagers whispered. That's the mark of the first fire. It hasn't glowed in centuries. Lyara stepped forward and placed her hand on the symbol. It pulsed. Then, with a deep grinding sound. The stone slid apart. Cold air rushed out, smelling of dust and something older than time. They walked in together, torches lighting the dark. The air inside was thick, heavy like water. The walls were covered in writing, some ancient, some still alive, changing like smoke on stone. "This isn't just a temple," Liara said. "It's a vault. What did they lock inside?" Elias asked. She didn't answer yet. They reached a wide chamber. In the center stood a massive stone structure, shaped like a heart pulsing slowly with a deep red light. Black veins ran from it like roots, crawling along the floor and walls. Karaz growled low. "It's alive," a villager whispered. Liara stepped closer. Her boots echoed on the cold floor. She placed her hand near the heart. Suddenly, her mind exploded with visions. Flames, screams, a sky turning black. Her ancestors dressed in silver armor fighting a creature made of shadows and fire. A voice deeper than space itself laughed, promising to return. Then a name, Malvor, the heart of fire. She fell to her knees. "Liara!" Elias rushed to her. Sighed. "What happened?" She gasped for air. "It's a piece of something greater, the heart of a creature that destroyed galaxies." The villagers backed away. "Why would your people bring it here?" One man shouted. "They didn't." She said. "They tore it from the beast's body to stop it. But they couldn't destroy it, so they buried it. Under this village. And built lives on top of a lie." Elias looked at the pulsing heart. "It's waking." "Yes," she said, standing. "Slowly. And if it joins with the rest of its body, wherever that is, it will rise again." Suddenly, the ground shook. A stone cracked open near the base of the chamber. From it, black smoke poured out. Not normal smoke, this moved like it had a mind. It coiled, sniffed the air, and then rushed toward them. "Back!" Liara shouted. Karaz leapt in front of them, breathing green fire that clashed with the black. Smoke. The flames pushed it back but didn't destroy it. One of the villagers screamed as the smoke touched him. He fell shaking, eyes wide with terror. "It feeds on fear." Liara shouted. "Don't look at it, don't listen to it." The smoke made a horrible sound, half whisper, half roar. Then it twisted and pulled itself back into the crack in the floor, leaving only silence. Lyra's chest rose and fell fast. "It's not strong enough yet, but it will be soon." Elias looked around. "Can we destroy the heart?" She shook her head. "If we do, it might awaken the rest of it. The only way to stop it is to seal it again." "With what?" Liara looked at the writing on the walls. Her fingers traced one line glowing blue. "An energy core. Pure light. My ship has one." Elias's eyes widened. "Your ship crashed days ago. It's broken. The core is still inside. And if I can bring it here, I can trap the heart again. For another 1,000 years. But you'll need time." She nodded. "You and the villagers must hold the temple. Keep the black smoke inside." Elias looked around at the villagers, the cracked floor, the heart beating like a drum. "It's madness," he whispered. Liara looked him in the eyes. "Then let's go mad together." He smiled grimly. "Go, we'll hold the dark." Liara turned to Karaz. "Ready?" The dragon gave a tired snort, then lowered his body. She climbed on his back. "Watch the skies," she said, looking down at Elias. "You'll see me return." Then with a sharp cry, Karaz spread his wings and took off, flying into the morning sky, toward the crashed ship, toward the last hope. Deep below, the heart beat faster. The skies turned dark again before Liara even reached the horizon. Clouds moved in fast, twisting above like spinning smoke. The wind blew sharp and cold, carrying the scent of burnt stone and metal. Liara clutched Karaz's neck as they flew low over the trees, heading back toward the crash site. "We're running out of time," she said. Karaz didn't need her to say it. He flew harder, despite the pain in his wing. They passed hills. rivers, and burned clearings, reminders of what this strange planet used to be. When they reached the crash, her ship was still there, half buried, metal twisted and blackened. She jumped off Karaz's back and rushed to the back hatch. It was stuck. She pulled, twisted, kicked, nothing. She dropped to her knees and used her emergency blade to pry the panel open. Sparks flew. A deep hum came from within. The core was still alive. Thank the stars, she whispered. The energy core was glowing a blue, pulsing orb no bigger than a watermelon, but heavier than it looked. She lifted it with both hands. Her arms shook under its weight. Karaz bent low again, and she climbed on, holding the core tight to her chest. Let's go, she whispered back at the mountain. The temple was under siege. Black smoke poured from the cracks in the ground like endless rivers. The villagers had formed a circle around the temple entrance, holding torches and old weapons passed down from ancestors, mostly spears, metal chains, even sharpened farming tools. Elias stood at the front, holding a large torch in one hand and a wooden staff in the other. Hold the line, he shouted. Don't let it pass. The smoke swirled and rose like a creature made of nightmares. It had no face, no body, but when it passed too close, people saw things, visions of fire, screams, death. It showed them their worst fears. Some dropped their weapons and ran. Others fell to their knees, shaking. Elias ran to one of the fallen men, slapping his face. Get up, it's not real, fight it. The man gasped and crawled away from the smoke, shaking but alive. The old man from the village council stood near Elias, chanting something from a book in ancient language no one had spoken in centuries. It didn't stop the smoke, but it slowed it. Just enough. A roar echoed in the distance. Everyone looked up. Liara and Karaz burst through the dark clouds, the dragon's wings shining under flashes of lightning. The villagers gasped. Some dropped to their knees. It was a terrifying sight, but also hope. She's back, someone shouted. Elias smiled. Told you. Liara landed hard in front of the temple, jumping off with the core in her hands. Is the heart still stable? She asked. Barely, Elias said. But we're losing people. This smoke. It shows them things. Breaks their minds. Liara looked at the villagers' faces, pale, eyes wide. They had lasted longer than she expected. Longer than most soldiers would. You've done enough, she said. I'll finish it. She ran into the temple, core glowing like a star in her hands. Inside, the red pulsing heart had grown larger. Its veins now reached the ceiling. The black smoke circled the chamber, waiting for her. She stepped forward. The smoke rushed her, but before it could touch her, Karaz roared from behind. He blasted the chamber with green flame. The smoke shrieked. Yes, it made a sound now, like something that could feel pain. Liara placed the core on the stone pedestal in front of the heart. She pressed her hand against the orb and whispered the activation code in her language. The core lit up, white-blue energy bursting outward. The temple shook. Cracks spread across the floor. The heart screamed. It wasn't a voice. It was a vibration. Deep in the bones. Everyone outside heard it. Some covered their ears. Others wept without knowing why. Inside, the light grew brighter. The core spun faster. The heart of fire pulsed violently. Then it cracked. 1, 2, 3 pieces. Then it shattered. Black smoke screamed again and rushed toward the core, but the energy pulled it in like a whirlpool. The temple became a storm of light and shadow. Liara shielded her eyes. Karaz stepped in front of her. Then, silence. The light dimmed. The core flickered once and stopped glowing. The heart was gone. The smoke vanished. Nothing remained except the sound of dripping water and the slow, steady breath of peace. Outside, the villagers looked around. The dark clouds broke apart. A beam of sunlight touched the top of the mountain. Elias ran into the temple and found Liara kneeling, hands on. The stone floor breathing hard. It's over? He asked. She looked up slowly. For now. He smiled and helped her stand. You saved us. No, she said, shaking her head. We saved each other. Karaz gave a soft growl of agreement and nudged Elias gently with his nose. Layara smiled for the first time in days. Now, she said, looking around the quiet chamber, we make sure this place stays buried, forever. And outside, under the golden sun, the village took its first deep breath in 100 years. The sun was shining over the village for the first time in days. Real sunlight, no black clouds, no strange winds. Just warmth and light. Layara stood on a small hill with Elias and looked down at the houses, the people, and the mountain that once hid a nightmare. The villagers were busy rebuilding. Some repaired broken fences, others cleaned the temple entrance, now sealed again with thick stone and iron. No one wanted it ever opened again. It's strange, Elias said. Seeing people laugh again, like we all forgot how. Layara nodded. Her golden eyes were tired, but calm. They were brave. They stood against something no one truly understood. That kind of courage is rare. Behind them, Karaz lay under a tree, his head resting on his front claws. His breathing was steady. The wound on his leg had healed fully. Some village children had even dared to leave fruit beside him, giggling when he opened one sleepy eye. Layara smiled softly. He never liked people, not even on my world. But something's changed. Elias chuckled. He probably just likes the apples. Layara turned toward him. And what about you? What will you do now? Elias looked at the village, then at the mountains beyond. I've lived here my whole life. Fixed roofs, fed animals, watched stars. But now, I've seen too much. Felt too much. I don't think I can go back to being just a farmer. He glanced at her. And you? Layara was quiet for a moment. Then she said, I was a princess, a soldier, a wanderer. I think I've found something more important. Elias raised an eyebrow. What's that? She looked him straight in the eyes. Purpose. He didn't speak. He just held her gaze, and for a moment, the entire world felt still. Down in the village square, the elder council called for a meeting. People gathered. Layara and Elias walked down together. As they arrived, the villagers stepped aside, giving them space. Some bowed their heads respectfully. Others simply smiled. The old council leader stepped forward. His voice was steady but soft. We owe you our lives, princess, and your dragon. Layara nodded. It was not just me. Elias led you. You all stood your ground. The elder nodded. True, but without your knowledge and your power, we would have been lost. We offer you a place here. A home. Elias looked at her. You could stay, live here, rest. But Layara didn't answer right away. She looked at the stars just starting to appear above the setting sun. I could stay, she said softly. But there are other places like this. Other planets where ancient things sleep beneath quiet soil. My people never finished their war. I don't know how many pieces of Malvor are still hidden. Then you'll go hunting, Elias said. She looked at him. Not alone. He blinked. Me? You faced your worst fears and didn't run. You protected people with nothing but your voice and your heart. You're stronger than you think, Elias. I've never left this planet. Then it's time, she said. For a moment, he said nothing. Then he smiled slowly. Do I get a sword? She laughed, a real warm sound. We'll start with boots. The villagers cheered as Layara accepted their thanks. That night, they held a celebration, simple but joyful. A large fire was lit in the center of the square. People brought food. Music played from old stringed instruments. Children danced around Karaz, who seemed more relaxed than ever before. At one point, a small girl fell asleep leaning against his side. He didn't move. Layara sat beside the fire, watching everything. Quietly, Elias came and sat next to her. "It's a good place," he said. "It is," she agreed. "And it will stay safe." He looked at her. "You promise?" She nodded. "As long as I'm breathing." Then, as the fire crackled and the stars filled the sky, Liara pulled out a small device from her belt. She pressed a button. A soft hum filled the air. "What's that?" Elias asked. "A signal," she said. "To my people, to the stars. It tells them one thing." He waited, "that I'm no longer a princess of a broken kingdom. I'm a guardian now, of all worlds." Elias smiled. "Then I guess I'm your assistant." She looked at him sideways. "You'll be more than that." He raised an eyebrow. "Oh, you'll be my partner." He didn't reply. He just reached over, gently took her hand, and held it. From the shadows, Karaz watched them and closed his eyes. The stars above twinkled like a silent promise. And just like that, the story of the alien princess, her dragon, and the human man became legend. But for them, it was only the beginning, the end.